down. Hey Jan. What was I doing in this game? So last time we played, we had the option to be racist, and nobody wanted me to be racist, so we didn't be racist. And then, so then we ended up just save scumming because people wanted that, and then we jumped over the railing, which I found out it was just my pants and shoes that were preventing me from getting over it. But we save scummed that jump, so we broke into the harbor. So then today's starting out with us. I did not do what I want to. I want to adjust my lights. Today we're starting out with us being in the harbor. Yeah, a little bit more red. There we go. Perfect. How's the mic sound? I'm using a new mic today, everybody, so knowing that information would be helpful. Sounds good? Alright. And then if I lean close to it... How does this sound? Does it sound like I'm right in your ears? Does this sound like ASMR? Alright, anyways, let's get to the game. So we're not racist, but we did break and enter into somewhere. So we're a criminal, but we're not racist. So I guess do with that information what you will. Yeah, my mic is blocking slightly. I'm just gonna move it a bit. There we go. Collecting rainwater. Alright, so we got 30 bucks to our name. Last time we leveled up, we increased our morale. Because we got basically killed last time when a child called me fat. Just real fucking murdered me for no reason. And then the other side of this door was locked, so let's get in there. And we got our cloak back. A child calling you fat killed you? The same? Yeah, same. It would kill me too. It hurts more coming from a child because you know it's the truth. The radio is emitting a strange buzzing sound. Like it's not loud enough now for me to hear the horrible buzzing. What do we got in this chair? Giant ass print on the pillow and a pattern of coffee rings on the armrest. Someone is habitually chilling next to this radio. Kim has nothing to say. What do we got here? Radio?
An imposing combination of a punch clock and a payphone is looking down at you from the wall. A note on the side says, "Tokens unavailable due to strike. Use change."
I'm broke. I had like 4 people when I visited comment on how I filled out, so I'm dieting. Ah, jeez. Yeah, I guess that's like, you know, you gotta get fat. If you want to be fat, you have to be like my level of fat, because people won't say anything because I'm just so fat that they're like, it's not worth mentioning. But when I saw you over Zoom, I thought you looked fine. I didn't really care or have an opinion of anything else. If that helps you with your self-esteem. But like, you know, grain of salt, look at me. Use the interact button in inventory to inspect this book. Is this book gonna just like remind me of my wife and kill me again? Cum gum? Thanks for allowing cum gum as a thing there, Cal. Let's see, what is this? Book La Fume, Volume 1, Number 4. The leading intellectual organ of something communism offers a radical... Oh, is this racism book again? Oh, do we get more racism?
The front of this quarterly journal features a large satirical portrait of the late King Friesel. From the sides of his head, a pair of white antlers spread to the corners of the cover.
Yeah, why does he have antlers?
Because white antlers are one of the symbols of communism. They represent a society in accord with the natural world and, at the same time, above it.
Okay. So why Miss Frizzle?
Because Friesel was incompetent, foolish, and cruel. In short, the embodiment of everything the communards wished to overthrow. It's satire, you see.
Oh, and that's why she was on the school bus. I'm making like a magic school bus joke. It's pretty funny. People laughed. Okay, let's see what this is.
To your disappointment, there aren't any full-color pictures to direct your attention. Just column after column of closely set text, interrupted occasionally by little doodles in black and white.
Okay.
After rifling the pages with your thumb several times, you return to the table of contents. The magazine is divided into several sections: international development, Kunst und Kultur, and local concerns. Just inside the cover, there's also an editor's note.
Miss Frizzle was kinda incompetent and foolish. Kids could have died. Yeah, I mean, there's also, like, something to say, too, when you're, like, magic, you know? Like, you never know what crazy dark wizardry or whatever she had, like, at her disposal if a kid died. Like, could have just straight up resurrected a kid, who knows? Who the know?
Comrade, as you know, this journal takes its name from Mazov's immortal expression, Du cristal alla fume. This was his way of describing the way the rigid, crystalline structures of capitalist ideology turn to smoke under communism. But, like the structures of capitalist ideology, we too are at risk of going à la fume. Unlike many publications which are content to spoon-feed their readers reassuring drivel, La Fume is committed to telling the radical truth, even when that truth may drive away potential subscribers.
So this is like, you know, obviously there's way more historic real-life things I can attest this to. This is the anti-work subreddit I found on a couch.
Only 4 issues in, and it sounds like they've already alienated their readership. So please, if you value our radical Mazovian perspective on contemporary politics, culture, and international affairs, please consider subscribing today.
Oh yeah, let's involve...
In struggle, the editors.
So let's involve fucking Kim.
What do you expect? It was laying around the office of the Debarders Union. They're probably bankrolling the thing.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you.
Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot to fucking post on Discord that I went live. Fucking... It's Monday. Let's see. I'm live, playing Disco Elysium. Come join the chat. And we'll give a fresh link to the Twitch. Just because it's been a minute. There we go. Alright, I want to catch up on international developments.
This section includes a long, tedious critique of the latest round of free trade negotiations between the EPIS nations and the Free State of Semenine.
Alright.
You also skip over an article about heavy fuel oil smuggling along the Messina border, something about bear wrestling in Samara, book riots in Yugograd. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Bear wrestling. Flip back to that.
Alright, let's see what some bear wrestling is about.
It seems to be part of a new public fitness initiative in the People's Republic of Samara, SRV, devised and promoted by none other than President Kanajinsky himself. According to this extremely credulous account, Uncle Sport as he's affectionately known to his people, has recently decreed bear wrestling the national sport of the SRV.
Uncle Sport?
Based on the description in this article, he appears to be an extremely competent and democratically elected president.
Okay.
Sapormat Sport Kanazinski is well into his third decade as president of the SRV. Outside Samara, he's known for three things: brutal repression of internal dissent, monumental corruption, and a near pathological obsession with physical fitness.
I mean, you know, American government has like 2 out of 3. I mean, most governments, right? None of them really have the physical fitness thing. Okay, bear wrestling.
Straightforward. A standard match features one man, or in some cases, woman, against one bear. 2 competitors, 1 ring, 5 rounds, or until incapacitation. According to the SRV's Ministry of Information, the program has been a tremendous success. Public support stands at 87%, and youth obesity and alcoholism rates are down 12% and 7% respectively.
Do you think they have like a little league for bear wrestling where like kids fight bear cubs and like the age of the bear with like versus like a certain age group? So like you could be like a young professional like bear wrestler, but like for your specific age group or weight class or however.
This is the SRV we're talking about. If you think those are the real numbers, there's probably a guy who wants to sell you a bridge in La Chette.
Yeah, Def Little League bear fucking. Yeah. Seems weird. Seems weird for sure. Let's see. Guess, okay.
That's very much the idea. President Kaczynski has long maintained that a strong body is the best defense against capitalist aggression.
Try, let's involve Kim again. Kim, do you think there's any chance our case will take us to the SRV?
Samaran People's Republic? No, I should expect not. Why do you ask?
It'll be fun to watch a bear fight.
They are quite the spectacle, as I understand. I've heard they make the people in the front rows wear plastic sheets.
That sounds absolutely horrible.
On account of the blood, you see.
Yeah.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you.
I hope this magazine just ends up being pointless.
It takes a moment, but gradually it dawns on you that Kunst und Kultur must mean arts and culture. Why they decided to title this one section in Volda is beyond you. As you leaf through this section, you come across several reviews of recent radio plays, as well as a brief artist spotlight featuring a local artist identified only as CS.
Cool something.
The main feature, though, is a long essay titled Tip Top Tournée, a critical Mazovian perspective. The Tip Top Tournée is an inter-Isolari racing series, mostly known for its high speeds, ludicrous sponsorship deals, and high death toll. In Revachol, it's held quadrennially on the prestigious Zero Carousel racing circuit.
That's a bad splash zone. Yeah, getting like splash zoned with like blood and gore seems absolutely horrible, but like kind of makes sense based on what the sport is.
This so-called artist spotlight is really just a brief Q&A, made all the briefer by the subject's evident hostility to her interviewer.
Fun fact, C.S. Lewis is short of Clive Staples Lewis. I felt like that's more of just a fact, you know. That didn't feel very fun. His middle name was Staples, which is a terrible name. I mean, like, most people's middle names are terrible names, right? Rip Staples Arena. Alright.
You think you're settling in for a relaxing recap of the most recent season, maybe sprinkled with some nice anecdotes about a few of the more colourful drivers.
Now this is a fun fact, right? Did you know that Barney the Dinosaur has only appeared in one XXX film since its inception? Like, that's interesting. Like, you would think it would be in way more, based on how depraved the world is.
Instead, you find yourself skimming a 10,000-word feature about all the politically problematic aspects of Tip Top Tourney. Where to even start? For one, there's the crass commercialism of its sponsorships, and then there's the practically criminal emphasis on deadly motor crashes. So, all of it, basically.
Yeah, who wrote this?
Oddly enough, this article has 2 bylines. Nasteb Encolada Bernal and Exilus Buka.
Barney wasn't in Inception, that was Tom Hardy. Oof.
There's no way those are real names. Have you ever met anyone named Exilus? Come on, they're plainly pseudonyms. More than that, they're likely anagrams.
What's bad about sponsorships?
Under capitalism, the article says, every pursuit has its price. Every pleasure, even one as elemental as the joy of racing others around a track, is reduced to an advertising opportunity. Thus, the so-called tourney becomes a competition between increasingly meaningless brand signifiers. Your discount laundry detergent racing against a pack of Astra cigarettes, or even a Fritta.
Right, but then you get crashes.
And that precisely is what's problematic about it. Were it not for the promise of random, spectacular violence, audiences would quickly lose interest.
Okay.
At the end of the day, it's the destruction of these 750,000 real races that you're really watching for.
Okay.
You see, one cannot avoid the conclusion that Tip Top Tourney is simply the apotheosis of spectacular entertainment under capitalism.
Hey, Kib.
I can safely say the thought had never crossed my mind, Detective.
What, I thought I liked it.
You can still like it, Detective. Just because a couple of fools wrote an article doesn't mean it's true.
Wow.
If I had to wager, I'd say they've never even seen the inside of a motor, much less a motor race. I take whatever they write with a large grain of salt.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you.
Alright, last part.
Unsurprisingly, much of this section is taken up with articles declaring unqualified support for the dockworkers' strike. You skim the headlines. Paint the harbour red and white. Martinez tames the wild pines. A city in revolt. First we take Martinez, then we take La Delta. Finally, there's a brief article by the writer, G. Martin, accusing the owner of the Capeside Apartments of illegally attempting to evict certain communist tenants simply for not having paid their rent.
Yeah. Let's see. We should have killed all of them. That seems a bit crazy. If it weren't for the wild pines, all those moochers would be out of a job. Charging rent just to live somewhere is pretty crazy. Wouldn't it be better for everyone if labor and capital could reach a reasonable accommodation? Why should I care? Yeah, I mean this one.
According to these editorials, there can be no accommodation with the forces of international capital or their mucilaginous allies in the coalition.
Coalition?
Judging from the context, it's something very large and fundamental. You should probably know about it already. You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents.
Yeah. Okay, well, we read that whole magazine and didn't really gain a whole lot, but whatever. Someone left coffee on the machine. Oh, can we steal their coffee? Standard office file cabinet. Drawers seem to be locked. Oh.
On second glance, someone has forgotten to properly close one of the drawers.
It's unfortunate for the Union to just leave their paperwork lying around like this.
The drawer opens smoothly. Inside is a well-organized selection of brown folders. Hundreds of documents containing logistical data. Two kinds of transactions stand out. Materials coming into Revachol from the outside world, from Muindi, Grad, and even Ilmara.
Okay.
And the same materials being handed over to companies inside Revachol. Kuron, Coal City, La Delta, and Jamrock are listed among the many districts where the imports are being sold.
Anything good?
It's hard to make sense of this thicket of company names, dates, quantities, and percentages. You try to focus, but the lines are getting blurry.
Oh, I'm getting bored looking at it. Alright, don't be bored. Let's see it. Come on.
Look how blurry all the lines on these papers are. How unwieldy your own willpower is to yourself. You're like an absurdist Samaran monk, focusing through not focusing. Hermeneutics was almost within your grasp, but now only vague letters float before your eyes. Less meaningful, but aesthetically more pleasing.
Yeah, Mel.
Is that what you're doing with those folders over there?
Yeah.
Right. This is probably not relevant to our case. After all, we're not investigating an accounting mystery.
Alright. Sounds good.
Smoothly.
Definitely don't want to go through their files. That's not going to help with our case where we think they're the bad guys. Every worker equals every member of the board is written on top of the flyers. On the bottom, the Union logo and demand democracy. This is a Dewey typewriter. The model name is on the back. What do we got over here? Come on, money. Let's see some money. A postcard, Le Jardin 21. What we got here? This laminated postcard offers a glimpse across the river. A little more than a decade after the war, the eastern bank is already fully renovated. The hillsides are lush with gardens and residences. Someone's parked a small beige airship by the fountain. This postcard will sell for a pretty penny. We'll just hold on to it forever until we hit some sort of inventory cap. Oh, you want me to read it? Okay, I'll read Neat Office Shades. I'll read this one. Alright, here we go.
These were stuffed away in the Dockworkers Union office. They're perfect for scribbling down paperwork when the sun tries to get in your eyes. Good for staring down suspects, too.
How'd that go? The new mic we're testing. Was it horrible? I hated doing it. It was very not good for my back, leaning forward like that. Yeah, put those on. Nice. It's not that I hate doing it for, like, that it's not funny, because it's totally hilarious. Yeah. Just scare people away doing it, though.
The already familiar cold touch of
like, half the people who watch stuff, like, avoid ASMR stuff because they find it creepy. That's why I think it'd be a funny, like, award system after I hit affiliate. Just because it's like, oh yeah, like, throw it in there so people can see that they can make me do something stupid. Alright, we're actually almost running out of time for day one. Kim might tell me no more work today, and then I have to figure out how to get back. All around you is great machines and... How do I even pronounce that word? I've only ever read it before. Alright, what do we got over here? At least 3 packs worth of cigarette butts. So, like, one person was just sitting over here. Numerous empty bottles of Commodore Red and potent Pilsner. What do we got over here?
This is the Night Watchman's booth. The name on the door reads, René Arnaud.
Well, he should be coming here soon, because it's almost 21 hours.
It's okay to take a few minutes to yourself. Sit down and have a breather.
That seems like a bad idea if Volition failed and is telling me to sit down.
If you must. But please hurry. We are pretty easy to spot up here.
Nothing incriminating catches your eye. The cabinets are clean and their sparse contents meticulously organized. There's a framed photograph on the table.
I'm not gonna steal his... It's probably like his wife or something.
Let's get going. The entire neighborhood can see us up here.
Oh. Kim doesn't like us up here, so we should probably get down quick. Yeah. Can we... Let's go down, I guess. Composite eye of halogen lights watches you, getting a low buzz. White pine trees are printed onto the screen covering. It looks like a forest under snow. Is this a big button?
A rusting control panel with several knobs. 2 buttons marked Marche and Arrête are faded with use. It seems to control the large crane above. A container is attached to its hook block.
The last thing anyone should do who doesn't work in some sort of yard like this is interact with any machinery.
On. Arrête. Off.
Speaking of which, I'm totally going to interact with this machinery.
With a loud grind, the crane shifts overhead, moving a massive metal container through the air.
Sick. This seems stupid. Why would I do this? I have no reason to do this. What is happening?
And with a surprisingly quiet thunk, the crane places the container down. The harbor sleeps as the strike rages in the distance. The crane can rest again, now that its purpose has been fulfilled.
What do you mean?
Moving this container, of course. For this purpose it was built. For this purpose it has acted. And now it will rest.
I can't see how that was worth the ruckus, except for seeing the crane in action, which I admit was satisfying.
Nice.
The crane does not return to its original position. It does not move at all.
Yeah, I'm with Kim. That seems stupid, but, you know, it's always fun to be stupid. Oh, but now we can access the crate and look into it, maybe. So what is this? Money! Okay, what do we got over here? You see faded industrial lettering on the platform. Bevolsend.
Before you stands a cargo container. Just one of many in the yard.
Just something special.
You do? Because I don't.
Why not?
There are a million containers here. Why are you fixating on this one?
It was hanging from the crane?
You just picked one out because you wanted to interact with a cargo container.
Yeah.
We are not here to interact with containers. We are here to get the body down from the tree.
No reply. The knock produces a hollow ring of metal. Doesn't sound like there's anything inside the container. You attempt to turn the handle, to no avail. The doors seem to be mechanically locked. To your left, the lieutenant considers your actions with some puzzlement.
Man, I even have a 5 in rhetoric, meaning it's one of my higher stats, and this is still a 3%. And I get a +1 through my thing. So... Oh, but it's a white check, so I may retry it. Yeah, sure.
Why are you even trying to open a door with rhetoric?
Yeah.
Why are you what?
Never mind.
Are you satisfied, detective?
Yeah, sure. We'll be backdoor. My enemy now, my rival in this game. Nice, just two dudes watching a crane move. I'm afraid... No. He's probably getting worried about you. Yeah, I mean, I already told him I, like, lost all my memory, remember? From last week. And then he was like, well, tonight when we get back, I'll talk you through some stuff. So, he's probably very concerned that I'm just, like, the most unstable person. This speaker tower is silent. There is no work to organize in the yard below. And then we got some people or something over there. The musk of oil and rust comes from the chasm in front of you. It smells like blood. Could be blood. I think I need like lockpicking or something to get into that. We'll just keep exploring over this direction. Let's see, more money. Steal that. Industrial-sized thermos. Smells like burnt coffee. Steal that. There's a guy over here. But I guess we'll just head this way and ignore the guy. Right? Should we have talked to the guy? Now I'm gonna, like, come in here and get shot in the face or something. Sounds like I'm gonna be talking to people in here anyways. Yeah, let's go outside and talk to the guy then. Don't want to miss out on content. Watch me talk to this guy and then he's gonna kick us out. And then I'll miss out on whatever was in that room. The banner sags under the weight of rain, snow, white waves on red. Hey guy.
Container, container, I'll turn you nice and red. Container, container, put the logos on.
The lyrics to this container song are being made up as he goes along. The accent is so thick, it's impossible not to notice he's Ubi, from the vanishing peninsula of Ubisunt on Muindi.
Container, container, used to be Wild Pines. Container, container, now belongs to Everard.
It's like me trying to sing songs. Tiny Man is so engaged in his work, he doesn't notice you. Oh, okay, yeah. I'll leave you to it, dude. Keep singing. I didn't like that my game auto-saved after leaving that. Feels bad. Oh, it's about to hit 21. I just got the notification that people are gonna start wanting to go to bed. Kim's probably gonna make us leave. Oh yeah, look, it's a big office, man. Hello. I see you have a fish. Taxidermy fish. That tells time.
Before you is a walrus of a man seated behind a large desk. He looks up from his work, not the least bit surprised to see you. With great effort, he straightens himself up in his chair, yet says nothing. He simply stares at you, with a mixture of expectation and impatience, well bottled.
Let's see, let's get straight to business. There's a dead body in a tree.
Welcome, Mr. Dubois, Mr. Kitsuragi. It's good of you two to stop by. Please, have a seat.
He gestures to a tiny chair opposite his giant desk.
Everard Clare, head of the Debarders Union here in Martinez. I'd offer you my hand, but unfortunately my health prevents me from getting up. You understand?
He looks extremely comfortable. The tiny folding chair, on the other hand, looks like a torture device.
You go ahead, detective.
Oh, Kim put me on the spot.
Whatever he has in store for you, it can't be good, he thinks. I'll do my best. Forget about that. What's with this Dubois stuff? You're getting some seriously bad vibes from that name.
Why are you calling me Mr. Dubois?
Please, Mr. Dubois, let us converse in a civilized manner, as equals. Take a seat.
It's nothing. Yes, that's probably right. It's nothing. Forget about
Aw, trying to forget our name. Let's see. Do we take the seat or do we stand? They literally said the seat seems like it's designed to be a torture device, is what our brain thinks. So sitting in there could potentially damage some of our talking dialogues, is what I'm thinking. But I doubt he's going to be a big fan of us standing since he can't, apparently. But, you know what? I'd rather stand.
Very well, Mr. Dubois. I respect a man with strong convictions.
As he nods, his multiple chins move like ocean waves.
I, too, have convictions. One of which is that I will not engage with any man who won't face me as
I knew it.
Should you find yourself more amenable in the future, I'd gladly resume our conversation. But until then, I'm afraid I must ask you to leave.
You're no Titan of Elysium, buddy. He's got you in a fork. Sit down or leave.
Alright.
Excellent, Mr. Dubois. I can see that you're a reasonable man, and reasonable men can be of great use to one another.
Gives me a try to give him the face.
So tell me, how can the head of the Debarders Union help a representative of the Revachol Citizens Militia today?
The chair you're sitting on has
I knew it.
got to be the most uncomfortable chair in the world. It's violating your backside.
It's like my chair I'm sitting in right now during the stream, where it just bothers me every stream.
Oh, by the way, I heard you got a rather rude reception from a certain Lawrence Gart. Some people have no manners, it pains me to say. This should take care of that nonsense.
He points to a giant novelty check on his desk. Comically
It should
huge.
be sufficient to cover your expenses for a few days and patch over your differences with a cafeteria manager. Go ahead, take it.
He points at it again.
Wow, that's 25 real. That's good money. You need it.
Yeah, but like, we already have like the backstory on the fact that this dude's like super sketchy, and then like we want a favor from him, anyways. So then, if we're gonna treat him like mob boss, you know, like movies and TV shows and stuff, then like taking the check seems stupid, right? Because then he won't do the tree thing for us. But at the same time, not taking it might piss him off, and then. Like, I don't know. It's a debate. 100% stupid? Yeah? Alright, yeah, sure. Oh, wait, you know Gart?
Yes, I know Lawrence. He's a real character. No union man in him. A real piece of work, that boy is.
With a grin, he points to the checker game. It's like you're on a game show. At least don't thank him for it.
That being said, too, he's only giving us $25. And our bill is like 150. And so, but he's saying, hey, this $25 will cover it. And so I'm assuming it's just the name on the check is gonna scare Gart into leaving us alone. And that just seems like a bad scenario in general, because then we'll lose Gart as like completely as a potential anything. So I'm thinking I'm just gonna tell him to keep it.
Okay, okay. I respect a man with principles. No handouts, then.
He crosses his arms on his ample midsection and sinks further into his chair.
Now, I'd like to set your mind at ease about one other matter. Your lost gun. Let me assure you, Union people are on it as we speak. I've got my best hounds looking for that lost gun.
His slug-like lips move, but all you hear is an echo. Lost gun, lost gun, lost gun. The world is swallowed by a black hole of fear. Only two.
Is this a boss fight?
escape
Is that what's happening right now?
pull. Lost and gun.
Is this just conversation boss fight?
When he said, "Don't worry," he actually meant, be very worried.
Yeah, I'm not worried. I got this.
Are you all right, Harry? You say you got this, but you seem a little anxious to me. Don't be. Everything's going to be all right. It's not like you left it loaded. You didn't lose a loaded gun. Local children aren't out there playing with it right now, pointing it into their own mouths. It's in a safe place. I just know it. I have a feeling everything's going to be all right.
No, I just mean, like, because we're supposed to be staying at Gart's place. So, like, losing him in terms of conversation and, like, as story develops, because I think we're going to be here for, like, a few days. So having him just be afraid of us and not being able to, like, talk to him might be bad.
It was loaded. There were 2 bullets in it. You always keep at least 2 barrels loaded.
Turn to Kim.
Officer, we will deal with this later. We don't need Mr. Clare's help with this.
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
Oh, fuck me. Alright. I should have Oh, the game did autosave before we came in here. As long as it doesn't override its own autosave, we should be good. Fingers crossed.
God, you're sweating.
I suck.
Knee is jerking. You're about to cry, aren't you? You're about to cry because you lost your gun and those children are gonna shoot themselves with it.
Try to stay cool.
Mr. Dubois, you don't look so good.
What is this, Mr. Dubois? He keeps repeating.
I'm gonna die.
Is he trying to pull here? You need to cool the fuck down. Chill.
Mr. Dubois! Mr. Dubois! Harry!
Safe place.
Mr. Dubois, are you okay? Can I get you a glass of water or something? Are you having some kind of medical emergency?
Maybe you could use your hands somehow, in a kind of throw-in motion, like you're throwing that Mr. Dubois act right back at him. He's Mr. Dubois.
Do my hands.
Dramatic. I can see your condition isn't terminal.
What an odd demonstration of... I don't even know what. As entertaining as it was, I'm afraid we're wasting our time. And I'm an extremely busy man, as I'm sure you are too.
Okay, enough. We are here to ask you some questions pertaining to a murder investigation.
Quick, here's your window. Get yourself together and ask him questions. Police officer questions.
Dead body from the tree.
You might have noticed there's one hanging on a tree behind the hostel.
Why we're here.
Oh my. Don't take this question personally, but why would I get involved in this matter?
Mr. Clare, the man was hanged with a cargo belt. A steel-reinforced cargo belt. It's safe to assume the Union had something to do with the murder. Besides, getting the body down would benefit all of us. It's a stain on the neighborhood.
If you're a community leader, help the community out. That's... I'm not gonna, like, you know, throw that in his face, because that'll be like, yeah, we have more evidence, or whatever. But, yeah, help out.
I can certainly see how having him up there might start affecting some real estate values.
He licks his fat lips and
Of
smiles.
course, all joking aside, I am going to help you.
Picks up the handset of the radio phone to his right, and clicks a button.
Jean-Luc, my boy, I'm sending 2 police officers down. They have a dead body in a tree problem they need help with. Namely, they need it to be taken down. And Jean, please take it easy with the race science. That's a yes to getting the body down, no to the race science.
See, the racist is gonna come and help us. Yeah, Team Racist, we're back.
You can find Jean-Luc down at the gates. He's the really impressive one. You know, tattoos, muscles.
I'm
Can't
trying to fix my camera a little bit. Apologize. It's not letting me sit up. There we go. Let's see. Okay, cool. So the big racist dude's coming back to be our friend. That's great. I hope he stays in the party forever.
My dear Harry, there are literally millions of containers in this harbour. I couldn't possibly remember what's in all of them.
What's in that crane? The crane.
Harry, you smooth-talking son of a bitch. Time is a precious resource, and I don't have enough of it to count containers with you.
See, he's being suspicious about the container.
Smooth talking. Maybe that's the way to go about opening the container. You should at least try convincing it.
Okay, let's talk about the hanging.
Oh, of course. That's your main thing here. That's why you're in Martinez. I know everything that goes on around here, and I would love to help you, like I'm helping you with the body. I mean, it's no secret that the lynching is connected to the strike. So much to talk about. Honestly, it's been weighing on me so heavily. I understand you need to interview me.
But
There's a thing that's been keeping me up at night. I want to talk about the hanging. I mean, if we could just calmly talk, exchange information, we could blow this thing wide open.
Yes, that sounds good. Let's do that.
the lieutenant says with a slow nod.
But I can't think straight with this thing weighing on me. You're police officers, aren't you? I have a crazy idea. You guys are basically door-opening machines, incredibly talented at opening doors.
Cam?
I'm not sure I understand. If you're asking us to break down someone's door, it's not going to happen.
Come now. I just need you to go open a little door for me and leave it unlocked. A simple thing. Absolutely nothing shady about it.
Yeah, I suck at opening doors. I don't have the skill points for that.
An excellent opportunity presents itself, sire. You could win the trust of the arch-liar, pretend to play into his hand. Then, should you wish, bend his efforts towards your own.
Whose door?
No one's. It's just a weasel. A weasel lives there. Nothing for you to worry about.
And why don't you open it?
Harry, I'm a very busy man, and more importantly, I don't have that extraordinary physique you do. You look like you could run around all day.
I literally have like a 1 in all of my physique stats, dude.
You want to send someone a message that the police are working for you.
I repeat, I'm a very, very busy man, Mr. Kitsuragi, and therefore I must occasionally enlist outside help. What will it be, Harry?
Why is he a weasel?
A loud blabbering weasel. When weasels feel no one is watching, they start acting foolishly. Just go there, unlock the door, and leave it open. It's been such a burden on me, Harry. I just want this to be over so I can discuss business with you.
So my drama stat was telling me, yeah, just accept it, and then maybe don't do it, actually, after gaining the information, but then he'll at least be nicer to me right now for taking the job. But I'm worried, like, about railroading, and if I accept the job, Kim's gonna get pissed, and I won't have the opportunity to explain why I'm taking the job. But, we don't really got many more options, but fine.
Fantastic, my friend. Just let me know when it's done and we can take our friendship to the next level. You can get the key from Manana. He's down by the gates. Manana's like a free agent in the Union. Special operations. Hardened socialist. A real free thinker too. He'll tell you precisely where the door is. One last thing, Harry.
Oh.
Just open the door. You don't need to go in or anything. I just want that weasel to come home and see the unlocked door.
Aren't you going to ask me how I got in?
Harry, honestly, I'm just relieved you didn't get a hernia. A man your age.
Okay.
Things do always turn real wacky when you and I are in the same room, don't they, Harry?
I have a background with this character.
Anyway, I assure you, I am a very well-informed man. Information reaches me before I even get the chance to request it.
So every time we've mentioned our name, we took damage, and I don't have any morale health boosters. So if I take one more damage to my morale, I'm dead. So I literally can't ask about this or this, because they both damaged my morale. So I think I'm just going to have to leave, or else I'll die.
Wait, you need this to get in and out through the gate.
He leans, reaches into a drawer and pulls out a plastic card. Okay. Thanks.
Here, you're one of us now. A real red and white Union man. Take care, Harry.
I feel like I made some mistakes, but it's probably designed to be that way. Alright, let's get out of here, Kim. Yeah, I feel like he's expecting me to be more incompetent or competent. I don't even know. I don't even know how to open a door. It's like the one thing I've been struggling with like the whole game. Alright, what do we got? We got our end of the day brief with this. Get the body. Okay, so we gotta go talk to the racist and then get the door key from Yana. I guess we could talk to the singing container butt guy and finally.
Container.
Yeah.
To this container, the accent.
Container.
Hi.
Everard. He looks after everyone. Huh? Well, hey there. How can I help you, mister? I see you are not a Union man, mister. Did you get lost? You're not one of them scabs, are you?
Shadow passes over his kind face. No, what's wrong with you guys in scabs?
I mean, I don't personally mind. Folks is just folks, you know, and folks gotta eat.
He doesn't seem to be waiting for you to answer.
Just some of the other guys don't look too kindly on the scabbing kind, if you know what I mean, mister.
What's with this container?
Oh, that one. That should be empty as far as I know. Lots of containers here have nothing in them. They're just waiting to be loaded up.
Told you.
Him. Where is everyone?
Oh, most of the guys are down at the gates, keeping the scabs from coming in.
He leans in with a confidential look.
We're on a strike. The whole union is. You don't have to work when you're on strike. Ha! We haven't worked for 2 months now.
So no one is working?
Not everyone is down there, of course. Mr. Everard is in his office, where he always is. And Jean-Luc is guarding the gate.
He pauses to think.
But Titus and his boys got into some drunken trouble and Everard sent them on a nice vacation. For a week or so.
What kind of trouble did Titus and his friends get into? I should have talked to this guy before I talked to Everett.
About that. That's union business.
Okay.
Him and his boys stirred up something in town. Probably drank too much and got into a fight or something. I heard Mr. Everett telling them to take some time off.
But what did they actually do?
I guess the boys got a bit too rowdy and had to let out some steam. I don't really know the details. That's just how boys are, you know. I haven't been in a fight since I was in middle school.
Easy, Leo. Let's keep this on the hearties.
Looks to me for assistance.
It's not going to be anything useful anyway. Don't fight it. Better to go with the flow.
What was this fight you got into in middle school?
I remember I was the runt of the class. The bigger boys always used to pick on me. You see, I had a bit of a temper back in the day. Flew off the handle like nobody's business. But Mr. Everett and his brother always came to help. Once they beat old Noel Becker so bad he needed stitches on his head. Noel never started another fight with anyone after this. Mr. Everett and Mr. Edgar are real nice guys, mister. You should go talk to Mr. Everett. I'm sure you'll be good friends. He's friends with everyone around here.
The little guy starts coughing. Okay, you're you're Ubi?
Oh yes, born and raised in Irish, mister. Mum had to leave my dad after he got a bit violent. Took us here to the new world. I was about 10 then. Too old to lose my accent then.
What kind of vacation did they go on? Probably not like a good kind. Probably they'll like go get beat up and like told how much they messed up, and it's probably not good, but send them away so that way they can't get investigated because they're probably not smart enough to dodge around questions.
People say us Ubis are up to all sorts of trouble with sheep and other animals and whatnot. I just want you to know there was never any of that where I come from. No, sir. Those are just nasty rumors.
Thank you for clarifying that, sir.
What are you doing with containers?
Oh, I'm just making some covers for them containers here. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. So it's easier for the crane operators to spot them.
You think it was Disneyland? I'm getting vibes that this game isn't part of the real world, so I would assume it's not Disneyland. But probably, you know, probably somewhere more tortury. What's going on here? It looks like the mountain of containers rising behind him.
Everything is so pretty and red. You and Leo look like brothers as you glance around with similar childlike wonder.
Man, I had like such a high chance of success in that roll and got 2 1s. That sucks.
Sure is, mister. Sure is. Really livens up the place. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
I hate to break this bonding moment, but the red containers mean they are replacing the company livery with the Union livery, which means this strike isn't gonna stop anytime soon.
Alright, well, I'm off.
Bye now.
Okay. It's also pretty late at night, so we should probably figure out how to leave. Try this door again.
You're back before the cargo container. Its draw has not lessened since you were last here. If anything, it seems to have grown slightly.
Okay, so yeah, we can't do that until we get an XP point put up into our correct stat. So now we're just gonna try to make our way back to the entrance somehow. Which I guess is this way. We still haven't been down in this whole area back here. I don't know how to get down there. Feels just like D&D rolling nat ones. Yeah, it's definitely a critical failure. Double 1s is fail, double 6s is a pass. I'm hoping when we go to sleep, my morale and stuff heal. Because, like, I'm desperate for that. I might even need to go to the pawn shop and, like, purchase some morale health things.
Your race descent has only worsened since I last saw you. You have really let yourself go.
Oh, we never showed him the racist mug.
He does not so much as glance at the object.
Know anything about this?
Stop showing me your pathetic cup. I have no interest in it.
Oh.
He had nothing to do with it.
There you go.
So it was. You surmounted the harbor wall in a display of athletic prowess to reach my superior. Then had him give me an order. I salute your cunning, and I will remove the body from the tree with my bare hands.
You're so noble, Measurehead.
Why does the racist man talking about removing a body from a tree make you hungry, Jan?
There's a but.
But while I am gone, someone must stand guard on the bridge. That someone needs to be you. Both of you.
Lieutenant?
This is the uncomfortable result of not taking it down ourselves. I can live with a compromise.
Listen to your little friend. He is wise in his childlike way. His mysterious race may yet prove fierce competition to my heroic haplogroup.
You've been in perpetual hunger regardless of surrounding circumstance? Did you eat dinner? I mean, like, if you're hungry, you should eat something.
Babe, see that they stay here the whole time.
Nice little water break while we just wait for this racist to go get the body. Yeah, but hunger is an amount of calories, right?
Follows Measurehead as he leaves.
Hunger's letting you know when you should eat, not how much. So if you reduce the amount of calories you're eating at the times that you feel hungry, then when you feel hungry, then it's safer to eat. That's the whole, like, thing where some people eat, like, 10 micro meals a day and they just eat something small every time they're hungry.
So, you guys are like cops or something?
Apparently.
Cool. I like men with guns and power. I'm Katya, by the way.
It's biological response to encourage you to find food because your body doesn't know you can store it indefinitely. You should be hungry sometimes. Alright, it's fair. It's a fair thing. Cool. Like, yeah.
You hear that? That sound. He's breaking something.
Yeah, Jean-Luc must be really tearing it up over there. I wish I could see it.
I don't know. The body was gross.
Look at you! RCM rent-a-cops! Guarding that bridge like Everott's lapdogs! Is this where it's at now? The RCM is for sale!
And who are you? What is your business here? Why are your clothes 4 sizes too small for you?
None of your business.
A shrill laughter interrupts you, echoing across Martinez. It's Kuno. Then, the man turns to look behind him at the behemoth appearing around the corner, approaching him, walking past him.
Oh, the racist is back.
The corpse has been removed from the tree. Stand down and congratulate yourself. You have sided with Ray's victory today.
Thanks for your cooperation, Measurehead.
Farewell, ham sandwich. You are a Union man from now on.
Kind of like the nickname Ham Sandwich. It's pretty funny. Alright. Kim.
We should think about calling it a day, maybe. The nights are still miserably cold this time of year.
I haven't paid.
We should take care of that then.
I don't have any money.
Let's talk to him anyway. An officer of the RCM shouldn't be sleeping in the street. We'll figure something out.
Sick. Alright, we got our journal updated. Pay that, pay for damages. So I guess we'll go deal with the body and then call it a day. We can. I guess we're not grabbing the key from Manana just because we ran out of time. That was money on the floor back here. Yeah, 60 cents. Okay, let's go check on the body, and then once we're done checking on the body, we'll go call it a night. Kuno, are you okay?
The corpse lies on the ground among the remains of an absolutely demolished pinewood branch. It's gently laid on one side.
It's down. Celebrate in a more reserved manner.
The Measurehead has done a good job. Nothing is too broken or compromised. The victim is ready for a field autopsy.
Field autopsy?
1. Investigation of the scene. 2. Initial examination.
I'm gonna die during this field autopsy.
Field autopsy. 4. Transportation of the body to the morgue. We are on number 3.
The RCM's 4-phase murder scene processing manual.
The fuck are they on about?
Cop's gonna cut his shit up.
Got it.
The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
Yeah, I kind of want to like leave and save because this is totally gonna kill me if anything takes a hit at my morale. What is a field autopsy?
You know what a field autopsy is. You've done 100 of them.
He pulls out pairs of latex gloves.
What you do know is, at 18.9 kilometers,
Oh boy.
Diamond Shield volcano Corpus Mundi is the world's highest summit, and the failure of the 38 single, Et puis descend, to crack the top 20 was the death knell of disco. But what a field autopsy is, you have no idea.
But why?
You must have me confused with the Coppapedia.
Who's Coppapedia?
You, sir. You are the Coppapedia.
Ah, fuck. Okay, got gloves?
Unfortunately, no.
I have the gardening gloves.
They are better than nothing. Tell you what, I perform the anatomical side of things, while you will take notes.
Okay.
That's right.
Yeah, we got this. We're smart.
Okay. Open the ledger.
Man stares in silence as you crack open the ledger. The bright red paper is covered in boxes and lists, describing the condition of his skin and organs in 3 parts. Above those, an 11-field info form needs filling out first. It begins with...
Again.
That's you.
Write my initials.
The corpse is indifferent to your scribblings. Just lies there. The next box says...
KK57-0803.0815.
It's Kim.
KK equals Kim Kitsuragi. 57 equals Precinct 57, followed by his date 0803 and time of arrival 0815 on the scene. He's indexed the case after himself, not you. That's because he doesn't want to bring up the messy question of your initials.
Yeah, just write it down.
NA. Next. NA. Roughly 50.
Try 40. The damage is so extensive, it's better to err on the young side.
Okay.
He nods.
Mondial.
Fair to olive-skinned, from the Isola of Mundi. This is as vague as it gets. You might as well say whitish. The pudgy mess of curdled meat looks neither mondial nor anything other.
Fucky, fucky!
The little monster exclaims energetically.
Male.
Pigs can have sex!
Male.
Nor does he look male, with his pregnant belly and indistinguishable face.
We're still going with March 4th. 51. What else? 9. Body identified by is non-applicable. 10. Case number is the same as the coroner's case.
KK 57 0503 0815 listens motionless, with the cargo belt still around his neck. Only one box remains.
Evidence of treatment.
None. At least not after the initial examination.
What exactly?
Interfering with the body's position or wounds post-mortem.
Didn't the footprints look like he was carried over?
They'd have to have incapacitated and carried him over. This man was more than a match for untrained dogwalkers.
He places his hand on the dead man's chest as if in
The
preparation.
central nervous system recognizes this gesture. It's the stations of the breath. Ecclesiastic, religious in nature, a holdout from pre-DeLorean burial rites. It takes him 2 seconds to perform. Then,
We should start the post-mortem.
the corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings. A thicket of boxes and lists on red copier paper tries to answer why.
External examination summary.
Clothes. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrodine, I think. Let's see.
He turns the body onto its side to check the underwear label.
See, it's happening.
Babrodine, yes. Inexpensive. Size M. Color white.
The disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing was expecting something more lurid.
I'll write it down.
Are ceramic, vitreous enamel. They are fused to his skin from blood flowing downward post-mortem. Removal of the boots is left for processing.
Write that down.
The boot has a serial number. It's E50.100.100. The lines between the plates are in the shape of the alphanumerical. The number is purposefully concealed by the design.
Write that down.
Tattoos.
Stands up, feet planted on either side of the body.
The upper torso is covered in a single, continuous tattoo resembling a microelectronical circuit board. It reaches from the right shoulder to the heart. The ink is blue and white. The assistant has a color photograph of the markings to be added to the case files as document A1. The photo is taken on the scene using a Trigat Mini.
Write that down.
The deceased has a belt for airlifting cargo around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot. Color yellow. Length 3 meters. There is a buckle on the other end.
Writing it.
Well nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters. Generally consistent with age 42. Preservation is good. Ambient temperature below freezing. Body hair is light brown. Distribution is consistent with the age. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back, short.
Why would I touch its hair? I'm like 10 feet away. I don't want to touch it. Write that down.
Lividity is consistent with hanging. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head, chest, and thighs. Consistent with stones thrown post-mortem. Low velocity.
Fucking low velocity? You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity was fucking max. Talking shit about Kuno's velocity.
Poor Kuno.
In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest. Consistent with predation. Ligature mark.
The lieutenant produces a small folding knife. With the other hand pulling on the belt, he starts cutting into the polyester. The stench is horrid. After a while, it's obvious the material cannot be cut. High velocity. Kuno sucks, dude.
Steel wiring. There's too much of it. We need to remove the belt so we can get to the ligature mark.
You got just the right tool for that. The chain cutters.
Pull out the rubber grip chain cutters.
Always good to think ahead. Now,
Points to the rope, squeezing the dead man's neck.
we need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark below. Carefully, with as much precision as you can.
Can we not have me do it then?
See, my pig is gonna fuck his head off.
No, he ain't. Your pig's a boring fuck.
Yeah.
The belt is equally tight around the whole circumference of his neck, swelling over the edges like white bread rising from the east. The knot is the weak spot. The chain cutters fit in there. Steady now, like a flower arranger. 2 cuts and it should come loose.
Alright. Physical instrument stat is a 2, but we got a +3 from interfacing. So, fingers crossed. And... failed. Another double 1. What the fuck?
That seems like a smart idea. Yeah, somewhere there. Already they're buried deep in the man's flesh. Then you rotate them to get a better hold. Then... The lieutenant looks by, somewhat worried as you summon power words to your aid.
I can't believe I can't believe I rolled a double 1. My last check was a double 1 too. That's 2 double 1s in a row. This sucks.
A really, really bad smell is coming from there now. And some kind of cracking sound.
Yeah, fuck him. Fuck that buggery. Corpse fucking time.
It's like you're me playing D&D. Just roll better. Yeah.
Told you my pig was hardcore.
We should really, I saw that there's a way to test your dice if it has a, like, if it's unbalanced in a way. You, like, place it in, like, salt water, and then if it, like, how it floats, based on, like, you can see if it has like a predetermined area that it tries to like always show on the surface.
I should have a go first. I think I have a strategy.
Yeah.
He sinks the cutters into the knot, preparing to perform the cuts, with his elbow to his knee for precision. Snap. The knot is slashed. Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet, revealing the dead man's neck and the dark red ligature mark around it.
That's a myth made up by Big Salt trying to get people to buy more. I mean, you buy one thing of salt for like $1 and it lasts you like 2 years.
Here.
He hands you the chain cutters back and then kneels closer to the body, running his fingers along the dark red groove until he comes to a gap.
The rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck, on the nape.
From... What are you even saying? What? I'm not reading that. Like all those add salt to taste recipe instruction. Not if you float dye in it, and it only lasts 1.8 years. That's 10% more salt. Yeah, you're right. It's a waste.
Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop from 1 or 1.5 meters. Chest is intact, normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant, pelvis intact, genitalia...
Uh-oh. He pulls down the man's underpants.
No! Let's get out and see!
I fucking knew it!
Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury.
Write it down.
Back is symmetrical and intact. Upper and lower extremities are intact, but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand, thigh, and hip. In addition, I see smaller, residual scars, too numerous to count, covering about 30% of his skin.
What, you want me to look at his dick? No thanks. I'm good.
From wounds sustained over 2, maybe more decades, dispersal and accumulation indicates long and active combat duty.
We have a real museum here. Of battles, wars. Last item, hands.
He takes the man's right hand in his, inspects it, then moves on to the other hand.
The hand is surprisingly heavy to lift, filled with decay liquids. Feels as though it could explode if squeezed harder. You're suddenly repulsed, so much so you feel compelled to drop it.
Hands are clean. No sign of injury from struggling. Ooh. That's all for the external. Well done. What next?
He turns to the side to breathe. It's not enough. Buries his face in his sleeve of his jacket, and you hear his muffled voice, and then, yeah. Internal examination.
Central nervous system. I have nothing. Do you have anything on this man's central nervous system?
Of course, there is a moral to be drawn from it. A moral to this story.
Conceptualization. Can we add a moral? Yeah, sure.
What could that be?
He looks at me inquisitively.
The dead man looks, too, with barely contained excitement to hear the moral of his story.
The brain is very vulnerable to compromises in its blood supply.
I think that may well be the moral of every story, officer.
I got a Steam Achieve. Goodest of the good cops. I assume that's because I'm an idiot. Alright, NA.
Good. Musculoskeletal. Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. Not injury related. Eyes and tongue protuberant. Hyoid bone. Let's see.
Okay.
With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it, gently. A rotting smell erupts from the mouth. Purge fluid runs down his lips, black and viscous.
Pick up, WTF, that's the one I pick. Good cop, Pog. Yeah, it's, what, you didn't like me picking up his hands? or just upset that I chose hands out of all the other things. I only chose the hands because they emphasized leaving Kim to do the work alone, and so that made it feel weird.
You hear cracks as the lieutenant moves his sharp fingers inside the flesh, like the creaking of an old house at night.
Yeah, jack that fucker off!
The hyoid bone is fractured. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact. Unremarkable. Respiratory system.
Back hunched, as if in prayer, he begins to pry open the dead man's jaws. He stops to exert more force. Both hands are used.
Oral cavity shows no lesions. The victim has received dental implants, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen. Hemorrhaging present in mucosa of the lips and mouth.
Write it down.
Hepatobiliary. NA.
Why don't we have anything?
Are you a hepatobiliary expert?
He looks at the corpse's stomach with a mixture of tiredness and disgust.
Hepato means liver, and biliary, the gallbladder and bile ducts.
Am I an expert?
Nothing in your alcohol-soaked memory directs to having forensic expertise on either one.
Look inside, I'm a ball of infernal fury. Wow. I only have... I'm worried about taking any blows to my character's, like, mental health here. We have 0 medical things, and our last autosave was before we walked into the dude's office. So I just try not to die here.
Neither am I.
That's it?
That's it.
Yep.
Same for toxicology and serology.
Both.
Unless you have untapped reservoirs of knowledge there.
Maybe.
Reservoirs? No, but do they take obscure trivia and odd tidbits?
Would obscure trivia and tidbits?
No.
The completion in me wonders if there's something we could still do.
Like a toxicology screening? At this stage, I doubt processing will find anything, even if he was brimming with cocaine. But still, you should add a request.
Brimming with cocaine.
Okay, electrochemistry, sure.
Cardiovascular. The body exhibits heavy lividity. Blood has gathered in the hands, feet, and neck. Hypostasis is visually consistent with the hanging.
Okay.
Gastrointestinal.
He breathes a sigh of approaching relief. This is the last field on the list. He looks around to the ground, the pool of feces there.
This will do.
Digested semi-solid food in stomach. Voila.
Write it down and omit the voila.
What's next on the list?
Description of injuries.
We have bite marks, contusions on the head and chest, and a ligature mark encircling the neck.
Be thorough if you want maximum results.
What about the injuries we've inflicted?
Oh, so we inflicted them?
Team effort.
You mean the incision on the thorax from a chain cutter? That was not a team effort, and I wouldn't mention it. Muddies the water.
Okay.
See? These pigs are fucking corrupt.
Why don't you fuck him if you love him so much?
Now, injuries.
Bite marks.
Head, chest and scalp bite mark injuries. Predation by birds has caused damage to the body. Odontologist does not need to be consulted.
See, but at this point, because, like, my whole deal is, like, I'm trusting Kim, right? And the fact that he's a good cop, and he's here because he's a good cop, because I'm trusting that what he said is true. So if I'm trusting Kim, he's saying not necessarily to lie, but just, you know, just don't include that because it'll just confuse everything else.
And your opinion, officer?
Beneath the description, there are 2 boxes waiting for that. Nods, help Skype marks, blah blah blah. No, just not to be need to be in concert. Non-fatal, post-mortem.
Next injury?
Contusions.
So, the scalp bleeds from a post-mortem head injury, a stone. The injury does not have the rim of an early inflammatory response. The perpetrator on the scene has confessed to causing it post-mortem.
At max maximum velocity, fucko!
Has confessed to causing it at maximum velocity.
There we go. Maximum velocity gets its mark in the notes.
Coagulated blood sticks to his scalp and chest, where the countless stones have hit the dead man. Beneath, the description of injury. 2 boxes.
Right. Next.
The 4th injury?
Nothing. Just in case.
Okay. Ligature mark?
A dark red abraded ligature mark encircling the neck, with a gap on the nape measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters. The hyoid bone is fractured, the cervical column intact. I see hemorrhaging on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. Depth of the mark, 1 centimeter. No signs of clawing on the neck.
Below the note, 2 customary boxes wait to be ticked. The man's head jerks to the side. The ring around his neck is visible. Think for a moment. There's time. Don't rush.
I don't think he was killed by the hanging, honestly. I think he got killed by something else. The fact that they were able to bring him over here, and he was probably already naked, and then hung him from the tree, and he had 0 resistance. I think they killed him prior. Because if he was wearing, like, some intense, insane, like, military armor garb, then there's just, like, they had to have, like, snuck up on him and, like, killed him or something. And then got him over here. I'm saying it's non-fatal.
A column of cold air encircles you, rising slowly upward in the shape of a courtyard, bordered by cracked plaster, windows, seagulls perched on air conditioning units. A small green enclosure in the middle of a corral of tenements. Cape-side apartments, whirling in rags, and the fortress wall of Terminal B. Above it, a thin blanket of coastal stratus clouds. Higher yet, Coalition airships guard over the 21 cordons of the zone of control. The air is crisscrossed with radio transmissions. The hair on your neck rises.
What is Shivers? Let's see here. Shivers is this one, which we have a 6 in. Raise the hair on your neck and tune into the city. That is what Shivers is. I hope this helped you. Cool for city level lovers, the wisest of street, genuine, supernatural. Shivers come when your temperature drops and you become more keenly aware of your surroundings. It enables you to hear the city itself and truly belong to its street. His supernatural ability, old wrongs play out in present time. Scenes across the city happen in front of you, but who is speaking to you? At high levels, Shivers may make you seem mad to the outside world. As you listen to the city, you don't listen to others. Your superiors may begin to worry. With a low Shivers, though, you will seldom hear the city speaking to you. And if you cannot hear it, how can you ever save it? So, Shivers, which is magic, is reaching out to me to tell me stuff. Coalition shall guard over 21 cordons of the zone of control. The air is crisscrossed with that. Was I right? I'm asking Shivers this, because there's no quotes.
You were.
There we go.
Why do you say that?
Yeah. Look, like I have magic. The city told me. Yeah, now that Shivers is like here, is like magic coming in to talk to me. This Shivers build sounds dope. I don't think this was the injury that killed him.
Okay. Why don't you think it was fatal?
I don't like that my 2 options are I'm psychic or I had a feeling. Or no, not even a feeling. Random guess. Those are both terrible. Well, I'm magic.
Now you're just undermining yourself for the sake of it. What's strange is, I agree. I was sure we had our cause of death here, and now I think we should leave it empty, at least for the time being. Let's wrap this up. I pronounce this field autopsy over.
He produces a small black plastic roll from his jacket, a body bag. How'd it go?
It was an irregular field autopsy. We did not establish cause of death, which is supposed to be the goal of an autopsy. But, personally, I do not see this as a parameter for success. We also requested a toxicological screening. That was thorough. The results should arrive in a couple of weeks, if we are lucky. I will not hold my breath. We were thorough with the list of injuries too. We described them all in detail. What is there to say? Given the circumstances, it was a professional field autopsy.
Oh yeah, well done, Master Detective. Maybe a drink is in order?
Oh.
I need a copy of that autopsy form. Then I will drive him to Faubourg.
There you go.
For processing.
He looks at the dead man one more time, then at the slip of red paper in his hand, then at the corpse again.
You tilt your head, also looking at the corpse. I'm sure we didn't get everything. There's always something.
Tell me something, dead man.
Shoot, Looney Rooney.
Hate you.
Do I remind you of someone?
I'm gonna die.
A child born with Muller's disease, harlequinism, grown up miraculously.
Baby.
You sure wriggled out of that one. Coppolini. Come back later, Corpo. Amuse yourself with my frank manners.
What is it?
My memento mori features. If possible, also see me in your dream.
Can we quick save? F5? No, doesn't work. Okay. All right. We need legendary perception on this. Wait, do we have a point? Oh, we could put a point into perception right now and boost this just a little bit more. Where is perception? I can leave and quick save. Oh. Thanks, Jane. Yeah, I totally don't want to miss this, because I might save scum it here. I'm also going to drop a hard save while I'm at it. Just for safety's sake. Can we hard save? Thank you, game. Save. Alright.
The man is decomposing visibly now. Every hour, he looks less like a creature and more like a pile of intestines.
Yeah, let's get another point from Shivers. Shivers seems sick. We can't upgrade this, can we? No. Yeah, Shivers, have a point. Seem dope. Bonus from my thoughts, bonus from items, learn skill, that. I'm just gonna pump Shivers at this point. It seems stupid.
The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
Alright, let the save scumming begin.
You run your hands over.
What? I can't? We save scummed that jump because we didn't want to be racist. I really want to see what the results of this are, and I don't know when I'll play this game again, so I want to see what this is. It seems neat to me.
The man is decomposed. The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
If someone that's not... No, I mean the Shivers. What do you mean with Shivers? My plan's to put points into it through the, like, internalizing thoughts and stuff, and just make sure that my stuff is pumped up with Shivers. That's all I mean.
You run your hands over the victims.
Come on, game. Oh, that's gonna be hard. Yeah, I mean, we're already getting 3 points into Shivers just from internalizing thoughts. That's why our shivers stat is at 7. So, like, I don't know. There's plenty of those big open slots. So just picking ones that, making sure we don't take anything that reduces our shivers, and then only taking things that increase it.
The man is decomposing.
But yeah, it'll be a bit difficult.
A deep breath.
I really want this to work.
You run your head.
Come on, man. I'm very curious about this. Yeah, I mean, I have no idea. If we're lucky, there'll be opportunities and stuff to just get it up. Because even having something, because I saw that there's thoughts that let you put more points into certain things. So Shivers falls under the, like, physique category or whatever.
The man is decomposing. The lieutenant adjusts.
So then, getting some internalized thoughts that let us increase our physique stuff will let us increase Shivers, too. There we go.
Out and your eyes close, as if by their own volition. It's dark all around. You feel cold, slippery flesh, first with your fingertips, then under the palm of your hand. His face, his cheeks, his nose, his fat, swollen lips. Like a spider, your hand crawls over his features. Everything is silent.
Up his nose?
They are swollen shut. You need to really push to get in.
Push.
Only the little one fits. The flesh changes shape as you bore in, searching for something in the cartilage.
The fuck is he doing?
The thing you're looking for, it's not there. Crawl out, spider.
Mouth. Squeeze his nose and make a clown sound.
The is cold and moist. A ball-like tongue attaches itself to the base of the mouth, lolling around like a scallop. The tongue moves freely in the cavity. The mucus of the mouth is slippery, delicate to touch. From the soft meat, teeth are budding. Hard pearls of bone in the gums, and in the back of the mouth.
I didn't equip my rubber gloves before doing this. It's pretty gross. I'm gonna die.
Can you feel it? You're so close. Rip his jaws open now. Look in. A vision of black and dark red death, pried open by your naked hands and studded with teeth. Looks like he's laughing. Death fumes rising from the throat, and there, in the back of his mouth, above the bell of the uvula, right in the soft palate, you see a hole, barely visible to the human eye. It is swollen shut, almost vanished. No larger than 0.4 centimeters in radius, the edges appear darkened. An abrasion collar. This is what we're after.
The abrasion collar.
Abrasion collar.
Lieutenant looks in. There's a pen in his hand. His notebook is open at the copy paper.
Kuno is silent.
Okay.
A black trickle of liquid runs into his throat from the wound.
Okay.
Your index fits right in there. A tight tunnel of flesh opens up. Tissue damage. Wide enough for 2 fingers. As you push both in, you reach through his mouth, right into his brainstem.
The fuck is happening?
Ah, shit, see?
Brainstem?
Yes, that's what this part is called.
Feel around.
The basal ganglia feels clumpy. What entered here has torn apart his reptilian complex.
This is the day Kuno decides to become a police officer. Just because he wants to finger corpses' brains.
This man will never sleep again. Never wake. Your fingers slide into the remains of his limbic system. There is no resistance. It's gelatinous. The slug-like structures are damaged too. The tearing extends deep into both hemispheres. This is what he used to regulate his emotions with.
Now there's a cavity cut right between the hemispheres.
The lieutenant answers with the sound of his pen on paper.
Fucking cavity, see?
Kuno's voice is hushed.
Your fingers are all the way in now, reaching toward the inside of his skull. The cavity goes further, but the entry wound isn't wide enough for the rest of your hand to follow.
Wriggle.
Your fingers reach toward his skull. His cerebral cortex feels like jelly. Cold jelly. Strange fluid streams down your wrist as you push deeper, until you feel it on the tip of your finger. Sharp, serrated material. The edges cut right into your skin.
Solid object right under the skull.
Can you get to it?
Inspect.
There's a tiny crack. A protrusion in the cranium, right in the back of his head. Your finger must be pointing straight at it, from the inside. The object that is in there stops just short of the skull, in the encephalus, knocking this tiny fracture into the cranium.
We have the makings of a very small exit wound here.
Lieutenant leans closer.
Forget about the fucking exit wound, Beano. The pig is wearing him like a fuck puppet.
Alright, 92%. If we get a double ones on this, I'm gonna do what this happened to this guy myself. Alright. Never forget you're touching a brain with no gloves on. I mean, that's probably how our hands fit.
The object between your index and middle finger. It feels sharp, like metal. With your face twisting from pain and concentration, all you need to do is just...
whisper, I got it.
My pig's fucking got it?
What? What is it?
Slowly pull.
The inside of the head feels cold and smooth, like a glove. Sweat dripping down your brow. Careful not to lose the prize between your fingers.
Whisper to Kim. I got it, Kim.
With a plop, your hand emerges from the mouth, covered in blood up to the wrist. Between your fingers, a small flower. A blossom made of lead.
Fucking beautiful!
A bullet.
Lieutenant puts a small bag marked evidence under it.
The bullet falls in the bag, leaving a smattering of blood on the plastic.
No plopping.
He raises the bag under his eyes and says,
A non-caliber. Rifle. Some kind of brittle alloy. Fractured on impact.
I have it.
Of course. You've earned it.
Nice.
We need to add an item to the injury list. Injury number 4. Oval entry wound with an abrasion color. Soft palate, back of mouth.
Oh, fuck him. I wanted it. I dug my hand into a dude's brain. That's mine.
High velocity. Temporary cavity in brain tissue. Small exit wound on the occiput. How does that sound?
Sounds about right.
Opinion, fatal injury.
Agreed.
And one last thing. We can now fill in injury number 3. Ligament mark. Opinion non-fatal. Post-mortem. Treatment.
He's proposing the bullet was the real cause of death, and the hanging an attempt to conceal this fact.
Treatment?
Treatment, officer, is an attempt to manipulate the body after death, to hide the real cause with a false cause. In this case, this injury here.
He points to the mark encircling the corpse's neck. The ligament mark, the fractured hyoid bone, it was all treatment.
Yes, and the belt around his neck, the hanging, even dragging him to the yard. All of it was done after this man was already dead.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I felt like as a player.
I have had my doubts since you showed me the tracks. Why did they carry him over? Why not march him, I thought. There was no satisfying explanation. There have been other signs too. Small things. We were right not to assign hanging as cause of death, as the perpetrators expected we would. No such luck for them.
There is, of course, the very real possibility he was both shot and hanged.
That seems stupid. But logic likes it.
To put him out of his misery? It's possible, but it doesn't explain all the other dubious things here. Lack of struggle, primarily.
Yeah.
I may be intellectually sloppy, but I prefer one theory at a time. And this just smacks of treatment to me.
We would do this.
That's for us to find out.
Yeah.
But this
These all seem
will
dumb.
make finding them just a little easier.
Maybe the bullet holds more answers.
We should take a closer look at it. I am certain it has more to tell us.
This little thing could reveal much about the weapon that shot it.
I like do that now. I think I need to wash myself.
Oh, you really do. I am glad to hear you say that. Your room in the Whirling in Rags should come with a bathroom. Be sure to make use of it in the evening.
Why would anyone want to do
hide
this?
something.
Yeah.
The real killer? The real motivation? What really happened here?
Happens next.
We put him in a bag and carry him to the holding pen of my kinema. The body bag should contain the odor for the duration of the transport. I would drive him to processing, but it's too late to do that today. I'll do it first thing tomorrow. No problem. One more thing. This was really good work, detective.
Let's drag him there.
Alright.
Takes out the shiny black body bag and starts pulling the plastic over the dead man's
I will
face.
need a little help carrying him. You take the hands, I'll take the legs.
Alright. Nice. I'm glad we saved scum there. That added a lot more fun. The game would have been stupid. We would have had no leads. We would have had to just go back to the dude and, like, basically have him mentally kill me. Sure to use your bathroom, advice from Kim. Yeah. We gotta go in and talk to the manager and be like, yo, can I keep my room? Look at how I smell. We had fingerless gloves on for that, by the way. Yeah, anything give us shivers? No. And I feel like inspecting the bullet can wait for right now. Oh yeah, because we saved scum, our shivers didn't go up. Yeah, we'll just hold on to our point for right now. Actually, you know what? No. I want to spend it on shivers. Shivers is stupid. Literally magic city goblins in my head tell me. Oh yeah, shivers is 8? Sounds good. Alright, my shivers is maxed out. I should check if I can internalize anything that can help me get shivers. My new favorite stat of just magic city. Let's see. So the white. Why is white morning? Oh, it was just the one I selected. So what is giving me shivers? Why this one? This one's giving me +3 shivers. The bow collector. So ideally, shivers is technically under physical or physique. So ideally I fill these with stuff that gives me bonus physique. Or like lets me, like, which one is it? Yeah, learning cap for perception raised to 5. So if I'm lucky, I can find one that gives me learning cap for phys raised. And then I can get shivers higher. Oh, and then we have all the union people here, but I just need to talk to you about my room.
Can I help you?
About the money I owe?
Yes. Have you got it?
We come to a different arrangement?
Does that arrangement include you paying me what we already agreed you owe me?
Kim is about to say something, let him.
I understand your predicament as the manager. However, I feel I must remind you that we are here to conduct an important investigation that also affects your business.
Forgive me for saying this, but your colleague seems more committed to drinking, and...
He stops mid-sentence.
I mean no offense. It's really nothing personal. I just have to protect the interests of this establishment.
I still have my key, you know.
Good luck trying to use it.
Taps his foot against a metal box installed in the back of the counter.
Draconian measures.
All the locks have an electronic component. They have to be unlocked down here with a master key before your guest key will open the lock. Not until you bring me the money.
Okay. I might have something in my motor carriage we can use when you're done here.
Oh, Lieutenant. We're done here. Yes. Have you
How much do I owe?
A lot. Room, drinks, like
okay.
what?
Alright, back out to the car. I'm not gonna talk to any of these people, because, like, it's super late. I'm covered in goo. I just want the goo off me. Yeah, you think a dude covered in blood saying, I don't owe you the money, would kind of help you not have to pay it, right? Or at least when you come to a deal, because I only have 36 bucks.
You see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater gauge.
I have something here we could sell. Look in the back, in the suspect transport enclosure.
Transport enclosure? Regular people just call it the cage. The cage at the back of the motor carriage looks rather uncomfortable. 4 shiny hubcaps are stacked against the seat. Their silver edges sparkle in the dark.
I confiscated these 4 a little while back. We can take them to the pawn shop down by the Martinez Canal.
What do you mean confiscated them?
A couple of weeks ago, I stopped a young man for going slower than the speed of traffic. Turns out he was some coalition official's son and high.
So you took his spinners?
Mm-hmm. I took them and arrested him for driving under the influence.
Isn't that... Yeah, aren't you being super corrupt right now?
I don't know. Is it? I was going to take them into evidence, but they weren't necessary for conviction. He never asked for them back.
Did you want the spinners for you?
No, that would be silly. I don't know why I kept them. It doesn't matter. I couldn't put them on this MC anyway. A cop with spinners. That would be outrageous.
Yeah, cool.
He flashes a smile, barely visible in the dark.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, dude.
As I said, they're useless anyway. I should have remembered I have these earlier.
Well, thanks.
The lieutenant nods as you take the spinners.
Radiant spinners gained. Yeah, definitely not a good cop there, but, like, I don't know. There's literally, like, a thing.
So we've been monitoring you internally, and now we know your copo type.
Okay.
Guess.
Cool cop?
No, you're the sorry cop. The cop who's sorriest. Let's make it official then, shall we?
Opt in.
Of course you are. It's okay. See if you can get something out of this, like info. Or maybe every time you say you're sorry, you get $1 million. That won't happen.
Oh, I'm the sorry cop. We actually gotta spend a point to unlock these, so then we can internalize this. Wait, what is this? We don't know what it gives me. Okay, but I'll have -1 authority. My authority stat's hot garbage, so it's fine. Let's check out these spinners, see what their description is. Magnificent hubcap spinners. The Lieutenant Kutaragi has donated to you so that you can pay for your room at the Whirling. They are slate blue and shimmer haughtily in the light. Okay. Pawn shop is down here, I think. I think this is the pawn shop. Yeah, I was gonna say too, like, American cops, like, they literally, like, steal people's shit all the time. If someone has more than, like, 10 grand cash on them, cops can literally just seize it. And there's, like, all sorts of stories of, like, cops doing that. And, like, just never giving people their money back. People have lost tens to, like, hundreds of thousands of dollars that way. And, like, people literally have to, like, sue the states to try and get it back. And it's all, like, a messed up thing where, like, how the processing of it works. Basically, the cops just get to keep the money afterwards, so it's, like, in their personal best interest to seize money, because then that's just 10 grand that they'll get back, and then they'll have 10 grand. Yeah, the cops just steal money. Like, the cops who took that just took it for themselves. That's how that works.
The pawn shop is always open.
Something I'd like to sell.
We'd like to sell these hubcaps.
Lieutenant steps in, hands him the spinners.
Rory takes the hubcaps from the lieutenant and inspects them. The spinners appear iridescent in the dancing light of his pawn shop.
Which, like, I can kind of understand why they do that. It seems like the big thing for cops to try and get on, like, highways that are, like, in between, like California to, like, Arizona or something. They like to get into those, like, kind of highway segments, so that way that's more likely to happen, so they make more money. Because cop pay is terrible, I'm pretty sure. And that's one of the ways they, like, make the money back, is basically stealing it, but, like, legally.
Yes, these are very, very good. Did you defraud some foreign prince for them? Jump a misk banger? No matter. I'll give you 200 real.
Yeah, I mean, city cops do it too. It's just less likely to happen.
No one was defrauded or jumped, I assure you.
Lieutenant explains as the pawnbroker opens the register and counts the cash.
Of course. I meant no offense. 200 real for you, officer. Delightful doing business with you. Do come again.
Thank you.
Takes the cash and then turns to you.
230 real you need for your bill. Do not waste it.
Yeah.
The rest is for him, to compensate for the pain of being separated from his radiant spinners.
Anything else you're thinking of selling?
No.
Another time, perhaps.
What drugs you doing?
Feeling warm and enthralled by the movement of light, while the mind continues to race forward. Lucky bastard. He's probably on Parolidon. It's tough to come by on the street.
What?
A drug developed by the military to treat and prevent radiation sickness. It has psychedelic side effects, and it makes your eyes turn yellow.
I try to keep the shop at a comfortable temperature.
No judgment, just curious. I've probably done this before. What's up?
I've had to take it. You know, since the People's Pile cleanup. I was with the Emergency Relief Brigade.
He's taken it for mental and emotional, not physical pain these days.
That must have been hard, I'm sorry.
There's a reason.
Sorry, cop.
Everyone's tried to forget any of it ever happened. And why no one has tried to repair or replace the pile.
I'm not gonna make this dude relive his trauma.
So much disappointment. And early deaths.
As much as I can.
Cancer mostly. And we knew all that was coming even as we were cleaning up as best we could.
I guess I have to. Whose fault?
No one's. Everyone's. A bunch of poor people built themselves a primitive nuclear reactor, hoping for the best. What do you think is going to happen?
Okay, so that explains what that is. That was the cleanup group. Yeah, thanks.
I like the theory more than the story. Outward movement, not vortices.
Yeah, you gotta get in on those vortices, my man.
Alright, I'm leaving. I'm not doing drugs with the pawn shop owner. Alright, let's go back and pay off our debt. Oh, we should have checked the clothes he has to see if any of them give us shiver while we were here. Just so we could have more shiver, because it seems like a hilarious stat. Let's check real quick, even though it's super late. Clothes are over here.
What a shirt. All other shirts pale.
See? Look, +1 to shivers. buying that.
Welcome to Hyundal office.
Yeah. Give me them shivers. Sick. So now shivers should be at like 9 or something. Check. Yeah. Shivers is now my highest stat. Hilarious. Yeah, cop who takes mugs, not drugs. I don't know. I feel like part of the like intro to the game was my character was turning a new leaf. Slightly. Is like how I feel about it. So like, I don't know. I kind of feel that indulging in psychedelics and drugs are what my character would have done in his past.
Can I help you?
About the money.
Have you got it?
Yep.
Well?
Sorry, cop. Here we go.
Great. Thank you, officer. That's all I wanted. Payment for services rendered. If you continue to stay here, I just ask that you please pay your nightly bill in advance starting tomorrow.
So my shivers is technically at 11, but you might have something higher. Weird.
The electronic lock to your room has been disabled till 9 PM tomorrow. Please pay for each night in advance starting tomorrow. 20 real per night.
Oof, 20 bucks a night. That's pretty expensive. That's insane. Oh, I can't put points in the shivers anymore. What's even the point of existing? I'm kind of starting to like not want to put points into encyclopedia anymore now that's just giving me fun facts. That's kind of been the case. So I was thinking of pain threshold, right? Or one of which one increases my like health? This one's pretty keep my morale up. Let's keep my health up. But I definitely want to put a point into that as well. Visual calculus and logic are definitely the two I want to pump up here. I don't really want to do any of these too much. Maybe Inland Empire, just like a little bit. But like... Jan, do you know which one of these increases my health? Yeah, I want to increase my composure as well. It's like composure, logic... This one needs it too. A little bit. Interfacing. Yeah, we got quite a few things. I definitely want to get my health up first.
I'll take a room here too.
Of course. Always happy to have officers from the RCM as guests. Anything else I can do for you?
No. Okay, so I established my room. I want to go clean myself off and then debrief with him, because we're supposed to talk tonight about like the actual job, because I don't remember what anything is technically.